I felt really bad for the guy, but I had to go fire him. That's when I made the decision. I wasn't going to be in management. I probably could have done that whole trip and been a program director, but it was bullshit. I knew I had to get back to what I wanted to do since I was 5. I had to become a wacky morning man. Oh, hey Derek. I didn't see you come in.
Oh, Thomas, what's up? Oh, is it Wednesday again?
I guess it's time for Bitcoin Talk Show.
Let's do it. Hey, we got the phone lines open. What's our number?
You could call us at 1-708-23-coins. That's 26467. Or Skype us at Bitcoin Talk Show, all one word.
Both lines are open. Hey, I'm sitting here with my friend Daryl W. Perry, who is the publisher at fpp.cc, and he was going to help me put something on CoinMap earlier, so I thought I would ask him onto the show and we could do it together.
That sounds great. Why don't you tell the people what CoinMap is first?
Do you want me to explain CoinMap? CoinMap is a website. Obviously, that's kind of a given since it's a .com. But it's a website that actually lists businesses, physical businesses, that accept Bitcoin. And the last time I was on there, they had several thousand businesses that are listed worldwide.
So I wanted to show a visual for our viewing audience. If you can pull one of those up. We're actually going to be adding a store live on air today. I wanted to show you a couple of things that I bought, Thomas. There's a Bitcoin accepting thrift store here in Keene, and I went there earlier today just to give the viewers at home an idea of what it looks like. I've actually got a video to show you of what you would see if you went to the 101 Deals thrift store in Keene, New Hampshire, the only thrift store of which I'm aware that accepts Bitcoin. Here we go. So you can see here that they've got a Bitcoin Skyhook vending machine, and it's right there on the register. They've also got some informational material about Bitcoin so that any new customers can say, oh, hey, what's that? And learn more. Maybe they're not ready to pay in Bitcoin today, but they can learn that Bitcoin is a new kind of money. This music, by the way, is not music that I've chosen to put in the background. It was music that happened to be playing at the store at the time. And then, so here is what the Bitcoin Skyhook vending machine looks like. It says touch to begin. Of course, you feed your bills in there. Scan your phone up by the camera on the screen, and there's FPP News, which you can pick up at the store. And there is the simple QR code. That's all you need to pay. It's right there on the desk. It sits there stationary, and the cashier behind the station just watches the blockchain address to see if a payment has come in. It's that easy. There's nothing required from the customer. Once they're finished and ready, we tell them the total, or you get the total, and then you'll get a receipt.
And I love how their QR code is customized 101 Deals.
Yeah, isn't that really cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you know that you're sending it to the right address. It would be hard to spoof something that has such a complex address.
Right.
It would probably take days or months to generate a random address like that, and it's just not worth the time and energy. So that's exciting. You can pay in Bitcoin there, and customers do. I'm not the only one.
I've shopped there with Bitcoin.
You have?
Yes.
I bought this tie that I'm wearing today in Bitcoin this morning. I also bought this purse. I needed a new winter purse, so I've got my awesome new bag.
Is it a purse or a European shoulder bag?
It's a purse. And then I've got this other purse. I couldn't help myself. I got two. So, you can get ties, you can get purses.
One for each arm?
No, different occasions. They're different sizes, so they would be able to contain different items. So yeah, I thought, how great that I can spend Bitcoin at this store, but not everyone knows about it. So help us add 101 deals to CoinMap, Daryl. How is this done?
Okay.
And can we do it on this screen?
Yes, you can. I actually that's why I have my computer, because all of the helpful info is on here. So you actually need to go to openstreetmap.org.
Okay. All right, that was easy. Now what?
So openstreetmap.org.
And I'm going to do a screen share, make sure that everyone can see this.
Okay.
Thomas, are you doing it, or should I be doing this?
I have a screen share up, but you should do yours because we're going to follow along with yours.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm just checking out, like...
I actually need to see the thing.
Okay, Daryl.
So
now we can just manipulate this screen.
Okay, so you need to not be looking at Europe.
Okay.
Move us over to Keene, New Hampshire. So you'll search for the location.
All right.
You can actually type in the address, because we will need the full address there showing up. Because the coin map, they only accept places that have a actual location. So if it's just a website, then they're not going to let you add it. So you have to put it at the physical address.
Okay.
So marketplace, it might already be added. Let's look here. It appears as though 101 Deals is already added into the OpenStreetMap.
Okay, very good.
But let's see here. Let's look in the coinmap.org just to make sure that they're there. Because just because it's on OpenStreetMap doesn't mean that it's on the CoinMap.
Got it.
Because OpenStreetMap is like an open mapping project, and there's a certain tag that things have to have in order to show up on CoinMap.
So the two work together.
Yes.
It's just two different pieces of software that integrate.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to CoinMap now, and we'll see if 101 Deals is already listed. Is that what we're checking here? Okay.
So you'll notice up in like the New England area, there's several hundred things. So zoom in, and as you zoom in further, it breaks the numbers down. So there's about 10 things in the Keene area. So Keene would be where that number 9 is.
Wow.
So
quite a lot
again.
for such a small
yeah, it is.
Suburban area.
Okay. So
6 right within Keene proper.
This one right here.
Yep, that's
is 101 Deals. So 101 Deals is already in there.
Oh, great. Okay,
well, what's this one down by the airport? That's something.
Fox Agorist Taxi. Who's that? I have no idea.
Oh, I believe I know who that is, and it's one of the people that also runs the bed and breakfast down in Fitzwilliam.
Wow. That's really cool. Well, it's nice that people can just add themselves so easily to this map. I wish we had an example of some way to add it. Why, then, I would wonder, isn't 101 Deals appearing on the Airbits wallet? Because this all came about... I
don't know anything about the Airbits wallet.
Oh, my God! Thomas, you're using the Airbits wallet, right?
I was going to say that. I was looking at it right now, and I was looking at Keene, New Hampshire on the Airbits wallet, and I told the guy in email, I was like, I love this directory thing. You can scroll through all the Bitcoin businesses near you, and most of them, they have a picture. A lot of the pictures, Airbits went out and gathered themselves. So it's really cool to have. I mean, like I hear the Free State Project, the Water Project, the Stone Foundry, Burrito Liberation. There we go. That sounds pretty good. Let's see what that.
Daryl got most of the places in Keene signed up with accepting Bitcoin.
Yes.
So these places now, Daryl, like I want to watch the expression on your face as you realize that there's a wallet app that includes LRN.FM, FPP.cc. 101 Deals thrift store is now added. Okay, so we speculated that it wasn't appearing before because of it wasn't on CoinMap. So it seems that Airbits does integrate with CoinMap, or is it Airbits? Are they going out and doing their own directory like confirmation?
It could be a combination.
Huh.
But I know with the CoinMap, had we gone through the steps of adding something to the open streets,
No, man.
then it takes a little bit of time before the CoinMap winds up syncing.
Yeah,
So
check it out, what I'm showing on this screen right now. It's that the 101 Deals thrift store picture that they chose to use is not on CoinMap. It's only on Facebook, which means the Airbits people probably went to go confirm it themselves. And yeah, they're self-verifying, and they're grabbing a pretty attractive picture to make their wallet look so awesome. I mean, look, Stone Farm on Liberty Acres.
The Garden Center.
Listed here. Yeah, the Garden Center, which you set up. And
Yes.
so all of these pictures are just beautiful. So if you've got a business that accepts Bitcoin and you've got an online presence, you have no reason not to add yourself to the CoinMap. And, stand up and be counted so that we know who's around us where we can spend our Bitcoins. I mean, it's a reason I want to go to a business.
Is Airbits just a Bitcoin vendor finder?
Yeah, well, no. They're a wallet also. You can send and receive. They've got, you can see here, you can like sign in through the login. They've got a secure wallet. There's a standard login like you would have with a blockchain wallet. But no, that's their advantage though. Is that they're pretty, they're easy to use. They have like different features like after you spend. They're more for like a wallet, like a digital wallet that you would expect to use for paper currency. So when I was at the bar at Social Sundays recently, they accept Bitcoin there. You can tip the bartender in Bitcoin. So you're able to make a note. So like, oh, you just spent Bitcoin, and then you get a little receipt that says, where, when, and you can like add like, oh, I was at the bar, I tipped Phyllis, or whatever you want to say. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's a great replacement for a wallet. Like I carry this thing, and it's got my cards in it, cards and a phone. Well, I don't want to carry cash and coins. Those are inconvenient and dirty, and also they fund wars, which I don't support. So I want to use digital money, and I want to do it all from my phone. So we're moving in that direction. It's getting a lot easier, and I think Airbits is the best wallet at this time.
How many different wallets have you used?
I've used Mycelium, the standard Bitcoin QT wallet, blockchain in its various incarnations, and now Airbits. I've used Bitcoin Spinner.
I've heard of that one, never used it.
I can't think of any others offhand, but I know there have been.
Have you used Viva?
Yeah, Viva, but is that only on iOS, right?
I'm not sure. I know that for a while their big thing is that other wallets couldn't be on iOS, so they had a special way around that. But they're really cool people too. I have to get back into their wallet. I haven't tried it in a while, but
yeah, but you're using Airbits right now, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I like about Blockchain's wallet is that it's got the 4-digit PIN, which it's not as secure maybe as a password every time, but Airbits has a password every time. That gets kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But then again, they don't have like the date and time that your local Bitcoin accepting store is open. So that's also a serious advantage. I mean, they've got the hours for Moda here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, with the Facebook page and Yelp and everything linked in. I mean, that's how a wallet should be.
I thought that Blockchain added some kind of merchant finder to their latest app.
I think they did, but I don't see it on the Android version. I heard that they might have one on the iOS version. Thomas, can you confirm this about the blockchain?
They do have a blockchain merchant app. It's just not as pretty as what Airbits has going on with the images and the scrolling. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you right now. I'm not sure if you can see it. It has kind of selections at the top, so it has like restaurants, bars, whatever's near you, and then it just has, there's not much in my area, but you just have to click down on the things. It's more of a map. It's like just a very basic map type application.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's close, and it really makes it clear that blockchain should probably just buy Airbits. Although Airbits, I did see a really impressive presentation with him a couple weeks ago in San Francisco where he talked about the different choices that you have to make a wallet these days. Multi-signature, you control the keys, they control the keys, whether it's going to be like blockchain, whether it's going to be like Coinbase. And it really seemed like Airbits did a good job making all those choices. But yeah, blockchain seems like a natural partner.
Well, the Coinbase now has something to where they actually allow you to control your private keys. That's something that they rolled out just a few weeks ago.
Is that in addition to the Vault product? They have an additional product where you can control your private keys?
I believe that's in addition to the Vault.
Yeah, they're coming out with so much stuff you can hardly keep up with it anymore. So many sites and so many things.
Yeah, and they recently added a little tip button, and I know that because, one, I'm one of their customers, and two, I get all of the emails from their blog, and I've actually added the little tip button to my websites.
Sweet. Is that free?
Yeah, all of their functions are free. The only thing you ever pay Coinbase for is if you put the money from your account into a bank account, and then you pay them a 1% fee.
And have you done that as a merchant?
Yes.
And that's through your publishing company?
Yes.
Tell me more about that, because you're one of the first publishers that I know who accepted Bitcoin.
Yeah, so what do you want to know about the publishing company itself, or
well, how many people have you published for who accept Bitcoin?
I've got right now 2 of the authors that I've published books for. I pay them royalties in Bitcoin.
No way.
Yeah, Davi Barker being one of them.
That's right.
So every month I'll send him Bitcoin for his royalties, and it was actually his idea of getting his royalties in Bitcoin. And at the time, the first time I sent him royalties, Bitcoin had hit the whopping like $69 mark.
Wow.
And I actually had to buy some Bitcoin from Mark Edge so that I could send royalties.
Well, why did you decide to accept Bitcoin in the first place? Was it easier than...
No, when I first started accepting it, it was as an alternative form of payment. Some people were like, yeah, I don't really want to use PayPal. Can I use Bitcoin?
Why didn't they want to use PayPal? It's just too difficult? Like, I was looking on the Free Ross. I wanted to send some money to Free Ross.
Okay.
And I saw the website Bitcoin and PayPal. Like, obviously, Bitcoin is the way I want to go, but I got this mound of cash, right, from the dance party.
Okay.
And I've been sitting on this for like 2 weeks, and it's annoying me because it's just sitting over there, and I'm like, I want this to go to Ross, but it's hard to make it go from cash to Ross, right? And
right.
I assume that they're going to want this in dollars because that's the most helpful thing, right? I could just go down to the vending machine down at 101 Deals Thrift and feed the bills in and then send the Bitcoin to the Free Ross QR code, and it would go right to them. And that would take no time, but the advantage of keeping it in cash is you could pay lawyers, right? Because we probably don't have lawyers that accept Bitcoin yet.
I actually think there might be 1 or 2 lawyers in New Hampshire that take Bitcoin.
Actually, yeah, there are, but there's still a problem with cash. So people don't like PayPal.
Right, and
they want an alternative.
Well, one of the reasons that some people don't like PayPal is, because you do have to wind up giving personal info to PayPal. Like, here's my government number and this and that. And the only reason that they're even asking for that is because, that whole know your customer thing.
The banks make them, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, because I tried to send
the banks only make PayPal do it because the feds make the banks do it, and PayPal is regulated kind of as a bank sort of thing.
So that's exactly it. I'm going to have to put this in Free Ross's hands. I'm going to have to send it in Bitcoin because it's too annoying to convert it into cash and then send it through a bank. There's too many steps and obstacles, really, because it's the verification process.
Right.
Because I tried to add funds to the PayPal thing, and I'm not allowed to add funds to PayPal.
Here's an alternative. If you really want to, send the cash.
How stupid is that?
You can give me the cash, will go down to the shared branch credit union
Yeah.
and then put it in my account and then send the cash
Via
through
PayPal to Free Ross?
We can do
Is that
that
the
if you
best
need
way,
to.
or what do you think is the best way for Free Ross to get donations? There's probably some direct way.
There might be a more direct way. Maybe Mad Bitcoin.
Bitcoin really seems fitting. He is the Bitcoin Silk Road alleged person as well. So
Okay,
Bitcoin seems like the right way to pay.
Bitcoin does seem legit.
You
That's
use
why
the Bitcoin vending machine. I've got the QR code printed out from when Lynn gave me the
Right.
thing at PorkFest, the
Sweet.
Free Ross with the QR code.
All right, let's do it.
Alas, that QR code is a QR code for a web page, not a Bitcoin QR code. But it depends. It depends. Yeah, there was some. I don't know. There's some unfortunate confusion between generations as to whether QR codes should be used for web pages or merely for Bitcoin addresses, as I think. There's something magical about taking a graphic or a photo.
Maybe we need to come up with a new type of code for websites and use QR only for Bitcoin and other crypto.
That could be also like Derek has right here, the Bitcoin QR code with the Bitcoin logo in it. We could have one of those with like a web, Earth graphic in it. And you'd be, oh, that's a link, and like that's a Bitcoin one, because then we'd at least be differentiating the two.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. But I really like that idea, and despite the fact that it might be more usable for them to receive cash through a bank, I like the idea of sending Bitcoin too much. So I think that's what we'll do.
Well, the Silk Road Bitcoins were in the news this week, Derek. Did you see they're going to auction off the other 50,000 Bitcoins?
Well,
Tim Draper's in the running again as well. You think he'll go for the pair?
Well, and even with this 50,000 that they're about to auction, there's still like 94,000 that the feds are going to wind up holding for a later auction.
Why?
I don't know why, but
maximize profit.
There was somewhere around 144,000 Bitcoin that Ross Ulbricht says those were my Bitcoin.
Oh man, they're holding his.
Yeah, they've already auctioned off the Silk Road Bitcoin. They did that during PorkFest.
Right, I remember.
And so now the auction's going to be
scheduling hassle that was. I couldn't attend the auction. I was at PorkFest. I wanted to be at the Silk Road auction. Total nightmare. Total nightmare. I can only assume this time they'll schedule it during Burning Man or some other Christmas type holiday rave event, I'm sure.
The holiday rave, yes.
The holiday rave and Silk Road auction.
Actually, we just had the holiday rave. It was in support of Ross Ulbricht.
There it is.
So that's the whole reason why we're in this.
And then something interesting that didn't make anywhere near as much news, the Australian government has some stolen Bitcoin.
How so?
There was somebody that was charged, and he actually wound up confessing and took a plea deal down in Australia. He was a seller on the Silk Road, and he had somewhere near 30,000 Bitcoin that the Australian government has seized, and because Australia doesn't have asset forfeiture, they had to wait on him to be found guilty or take a plea admitting guilt, and now they are in a 28-day review period before the Australian government can wind up auctioning the Bitcoins off. So by contrast, in the U.S., they just
took his
Bitcoin. They take it, and whether you're convicted or not, they're going to just sell it. But in Ross Ulbricht's case, they're going to put the money in escrow until after he's either convicted or found not guilty. If he's found not guilty, then presumably based on what they're saying now, he gets the money. If he's convicted, then they keep the money. But what I think is going to happen, whether he's convicted or not, they'll ultimately wind up seizing the money and doing an asset forfeiture on it.
What's fascinating about that is they're making a major investment decision for Ross. If he's found not guilty, they've changed all of his valuable Bitcoins into worthless dollars. That's a terrible trade.
Yeah.
Well, let's hold that thought while we have a caller on the line. Assad, you're on Bitcoin Talk Show.
Hello.
Hello.
So what are we talking about? I just called the number. So
Well, welcome. We're talking about the Silk Road Bitcoins and how they are being auctioned off. Sometimes that affects the price. Last time, the price took a dive.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. Basically, I just beginning investing, and I just bought my first Bitcoin today. So
Okay.
Welcome
what
aboard.
I was following the Silk Road scene, and from what I heard, yeah, I previously heard when previously Silk Road 1.0 shut down, the price went down. So it would be a great loss for me as well when this happens again and they auction off the coins. So the price would I see it going down. So that would be a loss for us.
I don't know. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the price would go down as it went before.
I think that could be a buying opportunity, but there's also a chance that people have gotten used to this, and that if the Drapers come in, if there's more, think about it. If you were a billionaire and you saw your buddy Tim Draper buy 30,000 bitcoins from the government, you'd got to be thinking to yourself, maybe I should get 10,000 of those next time. Do you really think the Drapers will be able to sweep the whole auction? Like, will the auction? What if the auction this time pushes the price up?
I think the Winklevoss twins might try to buy some because of that weird ETF thing that they're wanting to do.
Well, what I think is that if some kind of celebrity or some kind of philanthropist or somebody with a lot of money, he tries to invest in bitcoins, then that would be a profit for him and loss for us.
Why would it be a loss for us?
Well, basically, he would be taking advantage and we would not. But if people and common people invest in Bitcoin, then it would be a collective advantage for all the common people. If they auction that Bitcoins to common people.
I don't know about collective gains or losses. Everyone's on their own. So depending on where you bought and where you're selling, that measures how you're doing.
Everybody has their own perspective on these markets. I believe that you know better than me, but that is my perspective.
You also have to, depends how long your investment is. If you're going to hold your Bitcoins till 2016, when we have the next block happening, remember in 2016 we're going to go from 25 Bitcoins per block reward to 12.5 Bitcoins per block.
Yeah.
So that's like decreasing all the gold mining in the world by half. So if people don't understand that Bitcoins are rare now, then by then they're going to understand that. So I think by then the price will go up. If you need money in 6 months, if you need money a year.
When they halve the price of the reward to 12.5, the transaction fees will also appear and they will be on each and every Bitcoin transaction. Do you know that?
The transaction fees will go up, or what do you mean?
Yeah, the transaction fee which you do not see only on small transactions, they will be on each and every transaction when the halving occurs. That is what I've heard.
That's going to be a major change for Bitcoin then. But we need some kind of transaction fees to support the miners, so there is a trade-off there. I'm just not sure how much the transaction fee should be eventually. That's the real issue.
Assad, one of the things I like about Bitcoin is that there are virtually no barriers to entry. You could be any age, you could be anywhere in the world. Where are you calling from, and what is your age?
I'm actually calling from Karachi, Pakistan, and I'm 18.
Very cool.
So are there?
I just heard a story about Pakistan. They have a gas station where you can accept Bitcoin. You should check that out for us. It's some kind of, I think you might have to use a third party or a middleman, but buying gas for Bitcoin would be really, really cool.
There's a place in New Hampshire that does that.
That is the same place I bought my coins from.
Cool.
All right, man. Very cool.
Yeah, so I basically saw it on localbitcoins.com.
So was the merchant able to sell you Bitcoins directly, like from smartphone to smartphone, or was it through a vending machine?
I just showed him my paper wallet, and he just transferred the coins, and I paid him the cash.
That is so cool. Wait a minute.
Awesome.
You had a paper wallet. How were you sure that the Bitcoins were deposited into your account?
I verified it with my phone. I'm not that stupid.
Okay. All right. Just double checking, because you're using a paper wallet, you said, and I didn't know if you had a phone with you to verify. Very good.
Yeah, I just didn't want to use the online wallets as I just prefer it in my paper, so I have the private keys with me as well.
Yeah, have you seen the intergalactic Bitcoin licenses? Those are nice to carry around. I've got a paper wallet that I carry with me. Daryl, I think, has one as well. And this gives you permission from everywhere in the universe to transfer Bitcoin. So,
And then I've
just
got
in
one.
case you were concerned that you didn't have the proper licenses, you can get one at bitcoin.bombs.com.
Where I've got the Litecoin and Dogecoin QR on the back, and then Bitcoin on the front.
How are the restrictions in Pakistan? Are there any? We talk a lot about restrictions in the U.S. For Bitcoin users. What about Pakistan?
Well, what I see is basically what I see is that there are restrictions on e-commerce gateways and payment gateways. Like if anybody wants to set up, like you have Square in the United States, you heard of Square, right?
Yeah, we use Square at the
So,
thrift store.
yeah, so nobody can set up something like Square here unless he pays $500 million to the national bank.
What?
Yes.
What the? Why?
I don't know, but this is some kind of entry fee, and they're trying to restrict new players from coming in.
That's baloney.
So, yeah, so I think that this affects Bitcoin very bad in our country. So people will try to use it by avoiding the licenses, avoiding the fees. So yeah, in our country these are these kind of insane rules.
So how does the gas station guy get to use Bitcoin?
Is there any license required to use Bitcoins?
No, well, I have the intergalactic Bitcoin license, and
Yeah,
that's
but you
just
don't
a
actually.
joke.
But
That's more of a joke, yeah.
there are no laws against Bitcoin, so you can use it on the petrol pump.
All right. So what? So do you think more people will start to accept it? What, is he the only one, or what?
Well, basically what is happening is that we are using it for investment purposes, and he's the only one accepting it. As far as I can see, we are not using it right here in Pakistan, but what it is being used for is for transactions abroad.
Cool.
So many people here cannot easily get credit cards as they cannot prove their credit history.
Were you always interested in finance and stocks and trading, investments and stuff like that, or was it only cryptocurrencies that piqued your interest?
Actually, I was reading in these online blogs and all that. So when I opened a bank account, I learned that my debit card was cannot be used online. It was a Visa card, but they blocked the online option for fraud protection. Then I learned that the rate of fraud in Pakistan on credit card was also high.
So they restricted your freedom without you even having done anything wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Because of the collective fraud in Pakistan, you cannot use an ordinary debit card for online transaction. An ordinary Visa card or an ordinary Master debit card, you can't use it online.
Dude, when are you moving? That's
totally unfair. That sucks, man.
Well, if you read many times that Pakistanis have also been convicted of fraud in abroad countries.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that happens. Everybody has their own bad people in them. But yeah, I hope that I can move out. You can assist me in that in the future as well. But I want to complete my studies here.
Yeah,
So
if you
thank
like
for asking.
Bitcoin, consider moving to New Hampshire. There's a lot of Bitcoin accepting businesses here. And
Okay.
all right.
Have you tried any gift cards like GYFT, where you can convert your Bitcoins into a gift card and then shop at Amazon? Is that something that's available to you, something like that?
Unfortunately, Amazon does not ship to Pakistan.
What?
I'm not surprised. It's just a stupid question. But,
And neither PayPal does work here.
yeah.
Are you
If I-
serious?
If I want to buy a domain name with PayPal, if I want to buy anything with PayPal, if I want to get something shipped to Pakistan with PayPal, I cannot pay them because PayPal does not have the option of Pakistan in the drop-down box.
Screw PayPal, man. I never want to use them again hearing that. But you can buy domain names with Bitcoin using a service like Namecheap, right?
Yeah. I tried that. The first domain name I bought was with my international. Have you heard of Payoneer card? Payoneer.
No.
It's a free debit card that you can have shipped to your place, and then you can receive money from corporations like Google and all that.
Sweet.
But that is the card I used because there were restrictions in Pakistan, as you know. But then I learned of Bitcoin, so yeah, that was the Namecheap. I also heard about that, so that's a good initiative took by the domain name, and I hope that sites like GoDaddy and all those will accept Bitcoin in the future.
They will.
I don't think GoDaddy will because
Why?
they're one of the companies that are advocating for more regulations of the internet.
Oh yeah, you're
They
right.
want these, the
Yeah.
stop online piracy and
They're
the
one of
protect
them.
internet privacy something.
But listen, when they were partnershiping with this SOPA, see how people transferred their domain names. About 80,000 domain names were transferred.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, the market responded. customers weren't very happy with them. Well, I
So
appreciate.
that's what happened. If people, and I see in the future that people support the regime of the Bitcoin or whatever you call it, then they will benefit from it. And people who won't support from it, ultimately they might face a loss. And that's why they're opposing it. That's why they're trying to regulate it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's very cool, Assad. Is there anything else that you've bought online that's digital, like access to a video game or something like that? Because that really is amazing. You can use Bitcoin to buy anything online.
Actually, what I see, it's very limited. Define, can I buy an Xbox membership or a PSN membership with Bitcoin?
You might be able to buy a gift card from a third-party website like Crypto Thrift or something like that.
You can get Steam, right? Do you play Steam?
No, I do
games?
not know. Can I get Steam credit? Can I get Steam balance from my Bitcoins?
Yes, because you can go through Gift to get a Best Buy gift card, right? And then Best Buy to Steam. So you have to. It involves some jumping around, but I think you can do it.
I see. So this gift initiative is a cool idea, since the gift guy must be getting a lot of usage from Bitcoin users.
Yeah, I've been using it for years, and they even kick a percentage back. You get points back, and you can spend them again. Like, you can get more gift cards.
Well, that's nice. Thank you for telling me. I'll use that in the future.
Yeah, man. It's called gyft.com.
Yeah. I'm on the site right now.
Excellent. Cool. Well, I love your story. How many other people are out there like you that don't have the ability to buy the things they want to buy, not because they don't have the money, just because they're not allowed?
Well, that's all of Pakistan that is educated.
Amazing.
Okay,
Thank you for
20%,
sharing.
20%. Okay, let me complete. 20% of a population has the money, has the bank accounts, but their banks won't let them use online. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Asad. Call in any time. Love having you.
And speaking about the regulations of not being able to do certain things online, there's a recurring payment that I have every month that goes to, or I believe until a couple of months ago, went to someplace in the UK. It's for SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
And then they just recently redid something to where instead of billing me in euros, I'm billed in US dollars. So I think they have like a US-based payment.
They don't take
now.
Bitcoin?
They don't take Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yet. Hopefully at some point they will.
Right.
But every month when this payment would come up for its renewal, I would get a call from fraud detection from my credit union.
Every time they couldn't figure it out?
And so after about 4 calls, they finally did something to where this one payment would go through, and I kept asking, why am I getting this call every month? And they said, well, because there's a lot of fraudulent charges that come out of the UK, and we want to make sure that you're actually authorizing this charge.
The entire United Kingdom, every time an American spends money overseas, I mean, do they verify it? That's ridiculous. Now, can you do recurring payments with Bitcoin?
Yes.
How?
Yes, you can. Coinbase is the only payment processor that I know that allows recurring payments.
And so what's a practical use for that?
So I've got the FANS program, which is Friends, Allies, and Numery Supporters. And there's, I think, one guy right now that is using the recurring payment from Coinbase. The other ones are using PayPal.
So now he just has to make sure that he has some Bitcoin in his Coinbase account.
Either that or money in his bank account, because presumably if he doesn't have the money, because you connect a bank account to Coinbase, so you can set up, like, I want to buy this amount of Bitcoin every month.
That's very
with
clever.
Coinbase.
So it doesn't matter Bitcoin in his account or not. He just needs money of some kind.
Right.
And he can
And then
you.
I get Bitcoin every month.
And it's brainless. You could just, take the thinking out of it. It sets, you set it up, and it does it automatically. Well, that's really exciting.
And then I don't know if Dick has actually set it up yet, but earlier in the year they had announced that they would be allowing people to pay their satellite bills.
Right, I remember that.
Bitcoin. And they're also using
Another neat thing about the Coinbase subscriptions is that you can subscribe in Bitcoin. So I've had a subscriber for quite a long time, actually, who once a month seems to send me a .1. And there was a while there where that was $40. There was a while there where that was $100. Now it's back down to $30 or whatever it is. But it's been fun seeing that, and when you're a creator, when you're creating content, having those subscriptions, even small amounts of a subscription, really helps you out with the month-to-month of like knowing that you're going to have some money coming in because it's on a recurring schedule like that.
Yeah, that's what this is it's a set amount of Bitcoin that gets sent every month to me through the fans program.
What's the website where I can learn about your road trip?
That is tour.fppradio.com. So in the spring, from March until June, I will be going on the road, and I want to use Bitcoin as much as possible while on the road, and I realize that that might be kind of difficult to do, but yeah, so there's sponsorships available, ways that people can donate, and I'll be going across the country. And do you remember the Motorhome Diaries and Liberty on Tour?
I do, but our listeners probably do not.
Yeah, so it's going to be similar to that, to where I'll have events set up in various cities across the country, spend a few days in each city, and find out what sort of Liberty events are going on, what sort of Liberty happenings are taking place there, and hopefully try to convince the handful of Liberty people that are spread in these various places to join together with other Liberty people and come to New Hampshire.
You take NXT.
I do.
Why?
Primarily because somebody gave me $500 worth of NXT at PorkFest.
Wow. So you were bought.
Kind of. The way it was explained to me, and it was actually Brian Sovereign that explained it to me, and he sent me like 100 NXT.
Wow.
Back in about last spring, I think it was. And one thing that's really neat about NXT is that it goes proof of stake, not proof of work.
And what's the difference? For those who aren't familiar.
Proof of work is what Bitcoin and Litecoin and most of the other cryptos go based off of, and it's the person with the most computing power winds up winning. Where proof of stake is everybody that's running the client can wind up benefiting.
Okay.
So that they don't have miners, they have what they call forgers. So the forgers are people that have larger amounts of NXT, and I can actually give somebody read-only access to my NXT, so that if I know somebody, if I know somebody that's forging, and I don't have enough.
Forging meaning that's the equivalent of mining.
That's the equivalent of mining. So they're the ones making sure that transactions get processed, and they're the
that's kind of confusing because they're using forge like anvil, hammer, blacksmithing, forging, not forging like duplicating or illicitly copying.
Yes.
That's a complication there.
Yeah. So they're the people that are making sure that the transactions are going through, and they're the equivalent of the miners. So instead of going based off of computing power, it's people running the client. And if you wish to be one of the forgers, in order to actually wind up getting a return, you have to have over a certain amount of NXT in order to get a return.
That stinks. So you have to have proof of stake. So you have to have some of the NXT.
That's where the read-only access comes in to where
prove that you've got some.
No, so let's say you're forging.
Yeah.
I don't have enough to where it's worth my time to forge, but I can give you read-only access, and then I would wind up getting a fraction of the forger's fees that you are earning.
I see the benefit there.
Yeah.
Well, that is very interesting.
So there's forging pools that are similar to like the mining pools. But instead of giving up your computing power, you're just letting them borrow without them actually being able to spend your NXT. You're letting them, quote unquote, borrow, so they have read-only access.
Is it anything like Namecoin, where it served a purpose in addition to being a currency? Like you could register domain names with Namecoin, and it was sort of a decentralized
There's an
service.
asset exchange that is part of NXT.
Is that free market?
Well, there's also the free market, but the asset exchange is sort of like a stock market. You can send messages with NXT. And then there's the free market. The free market is a decentralized platform, in some aspects, similar to.
You used it?
I have not.
Okay.
But in other aspects, it's nothing like Silk Road, because Silk Road was in one location on a server. The NXT free market is not on a server. It's on everybody's computer that is running the add-on to the NXT blockchain program. So it's completely decentralized. So let's just say that they take out the computer of the guy that came up with the program. Well, the NXT free market is still going to be there because it's not just on his computer.
I see. Now we have a special caller who's trying to get connected to tell us about Bollywood Coin. As we wait for that caller, I have an update on Barrett Brown. Do you know who Barrett Brown is, Daryl?
Barrett Brown, is this the guy that was facing 100 years in prison for copying a link from one internet forum and posting it in another internet forum?
Yes, he is. Oh, and here's our caller. We'll learn more about Barrett Brown in just a moment, but caller, you are on Bitcoin Talk Show. Go ahead.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Very good. Where are you calling from?
We're calling from Scotland, Glasgow.
Hey, how did you feel about that vote you guys took recently?
I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
So, what's on your mind?
Basically, we've launched a new coin, Bollywood Coin, developed by Feathercoin developer Peter Bushnell, and we're just basically trying to raise the awareness of this new concept that we've done called CoinBids, which is linking the coin to movie banks. I don't know if you've heard any of this. We just launched it on Sunday.
Cool. No, I haven't heard. We've got a little bit of data up on the screen about it. So tell me more.
Basically, CoinBids is basically giving the revenue back to people who created movies and aren't getting anything due to piracy and bootleggers, really, to be honest. A lot of these movies have been lost in time and you can't actually get them anywhere. So we're trying to get a platform where people can access these movies, and at the same time they can use our new coin, Bollywood Coin, because in India only 1 out of 7 people actually have a bank account, whereas nearly 900 million people have an internet access device, like a mobile phone or a tablet.
My jaw is on the floor. I'm speechless. I'm seeing the website here for the first time, learning about Bollywood Coin and seeing CoinBids. Yep. And I love it, man. So it's a way for people to download their favorite movies and chip a bit in, whatever they think is fair, to the creators or the people who are serving that video.
Yeah. And the money will 50% or maybe more, depending on negotiations, would go back to the creators of that content. They've lost money now in the past 50 or so years. They've not made any revenue on these movies.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give them an opportunity.
Awesome, man. And they work their fingers to the bones on these things, trying to put these productions together. And Bollywood movies, that's not easy to put together. They're like 3 hours long, dance scenes and colors, and oh my gosh, so they're amazing. So this is going to be awesome. I will use this service. I'll be delighted. So is it operational already? I can go to coinvids.com right now?
Basically, on CoinBids right now, you can view some free movies we've already put up, and they are operational. But the actual other movies won't be operational until the wallet comes out, which will be on the 24th of November. So we're hoping to have all of CoinBids fully ready for the 1st of December this year.
Okay, but can I go watch a movie like tonight?
Yeah.
Got a recommendation for me?
If you understand the language, yes. Basically, they're up in Hindi just now, the movies. Awara is probably one of my favorites.
I need subtitles.
We will be adding things over time. Basically, we've just launched a week. It's not even been a week. It's only been like 3 days.
Yeah.
And we have worked very hard for the past 2 or 3 months on this.
Yeah, I know.
project.
How dare I lop on an extra demand like subtitles? But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. You've done a lot of work.
So hold on, I just have a question real quick. When the subtitles come out, are they going to be in English or Scottish?
Probably English, but if Scottish is requested, we will work with the community to add these kind of things if required. And we have a really good developer in our hands with Peter Bushnell. He's worked really, really hard on our project, and he will be with us in the future as well. And I believe having a solid development team along with the idea is very, very important.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this is this could be useful for our previous caller, Assad. Tell me why that is.
And basically, places like Pakistan and India are really lacking the banking infrastructure that we actually take for granted here. And for them to actually access something like Netflix in Pakistan is very, very difficult because they can't make that £5 a month payment if they don't have a bank account. Now, that's one of the reasons these people can't actually use these online media providers. Now, India and Pakistan have got over 1 billion population, and like I say, they've already got the mobile devices and tablets to connect to these places. They can see they exist, but they can't use the facilities. So using our coin or use a sort of cryptocurrency would give them access to these movies regardless of their credit history.
This is great, man. This is a real solution. I'm so excited by this because people don't mind paying for content that they enjoy.
Basically,
they just don't have a way to do it.
We're also 100. The actual movies in India and Pakistan, you're looking at, let's say, 100 rupees, which is about £1, or in coins term, you're looking at about, I don't know, 50,000 satoshis. But we're offering them at a penny each, a rupee each, or 5,000 satoshis, which is still 150 or so times cheaper than what the average bootlegger can offer you at, and you get it directly on your device.
That's right.
And the producers get 50% of the content profit back to them as well.
And because people are making money because it takes money in, it's profitable enough to hopefully pay for quality control. You can get better videos. You can pay a staff to maintain the site. I mean, people are getting paid. It's not just one of these junk sites that pops up overnight and then disappears. It's like it's actually incentivized to be sustainable, which is brilliant. That's really cool.
We're also looking at bringing in later on maybe movie editions where directors of movies who might maybe fund a film and are a bit short on funds, they could actually put out an edition for people and say, look, put up your edition through your mobile phone onto this website, onto CoinVids, charge them maybe a coin each, one Bollywood coin each, and they could upload their edition, and the director could actually pick what he fancies and also give some income to put towards his movie.
Well, I've got a movie to put on the site. Does it have to be a Bollywood movie?
Not really. It just depends what the directors are looking for. If you want to direct a movie and put up an ad for we are looking for so-and-so persons, then you could do something like that.
Very cool.
I think it'd be cool if you sold access to your movie in Bollywood coin, Derek. That would be pretty neat. I was going to ask, are you planning to keep the price of Bollywood coin about the same? I noticed that it's for sale on Bittrex. There's a large sale. It seems like that would keep the price about the same.
Basically, now the way we've done the coin is we've actually done a few things different on the technical side. Firstly, is there's going to be less coins, and there's 200 million total altogether. However, there's only going to be 14,400 coins per day. So there's not that many going to be coming out through the mining dumps. So the price should sustain, hopefully, at the price that we're launching it at, which is based around 1 rupee, 1 pence, 5,000 satoshis. And most of that money that we do get will go towards bringing more better exclusive content towards CoinVids, which is our long-term aim.
So is the project working right now? If I bought some Bollywood coins on Bittrex, could I send them to coinvids.com and watch a movie?
You could from the 24th of November onwards, hopefully. What right now is Bittrex are holding on to the coins. The wallet actually hasn't went live until the 24th of November.
What's the significance of that date?
And basically, that's the crowdfund that's going on at Bittrex just now. So that ends on the 24th. So once that ends, then the coin and the mining and the wallets all become available to the public.
And what kind of algorithm does it run on? You said it can be mined. Is this for?
We're using the X11 algorithm for this just now. We feel basically it's a lot more suitable for warmer climates. So if people in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India want to try mining the coin, it's probably better off on X11 than it would be on a SHA coin example.
So X11 is more of a CPU mined coin because they have to change between so many algorithms. So are you expecting like a normal user, maybe Assad, could run his computer at nighttime, maybe earn a couple movies, something like that?
That's what we're hoping, yeah. We've got a bounty out just now for anyone next week onwards if they could create a mining tutorial in Hindi or Urdu language, because we do want to encourage a lot of mining from that part of the countries.
Right, that would make sense.
So yeah, the X11, I feel it's a good algorithm, and I feel it'll suit the people around there more than anyone else. Also, I use X11 coins more than anyone just now. I do a lot of GPU mining myself, and it's always on X11 coins.
How did your team come together? Were you all guys just like, we're a bunch of movie junkies, we love Bollywood movies, let's find a way to help reward these directors? Basically,
what happened was it started off about a year ago, where I was looking to get a movie that I'd seen a long anywhere.
Yeah.
And then eventually I found it through a bootlegger and charged me £5. He goes, there you go, give me it back after a week. I was like, right. So I came back home and I realised that there was now at the same time I was trading in coins. So I started thinking about the idea, and I felt there must be a way where I can give these people who've created this content some way of them getting their money back, because there must be, especially with crypto now. Once I started looking into it and I started seeing these stats of 1 in 7 don't have a bank account, I was like, right, okay. And then 900 million people have got connected devices. I was like, right, okay, so they're on the internet, purchasing anything, and the movie directors, and slowly everything started coming together in my head. But I couldn't tell anyone because I'm very, very worried about all the scam coins going out and about. And I don't want to get scammed, and I don't want the thing going wrong. So I went headhunting for a quality developer, and I found Peter. Went down, met him, had a face-to-face meeting with him. Brilliant guy. And he came on board, he really liked the concept. And basically since then, me and my 2 other friends have been working on the marketing side, and while Peter's been on the development side. Then we brought in another 2 people to help us develop CoinBids. And we built up a small team, and we're working really, really hard trying to promote this idea just now.
That's awesome. Peter is involved with Feathercoin, you mentioned. Is he involved with any other projects?
I think he's done Phoenix Coin. I think, yeah, Phoenix Coin. He may have done others. I'm not really too sure on his other coin history, but he does have a 7 out of 7 trust score on CoinSource. So 7 out of 7 is really, really high. And Bollywood Coin itself got a 5 out of 7 on CoinSource. So we do have that as well.
You know, this should have been my first question, but it may be my last. What is your name?
Oh, sorry. My name's Shahad Anwar.
Shahad?
Shahad Anwar.
Anwar Shahad. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Are there any other thoughts that you'd like to add about Bollywood Coin or...
Basically, if you just keep an eye on it over the coming weeks, hopefully we're trying to send up a few deals for exclusive content, and if we're trying to grow the community, people have got ideas, we're willing to listen, and you know, it's all about driving this forward together, it's not just me. I'm hoping to bring everyone else in and try and work on this together.
Excellent. Where can people reach you?
You can contact us on the website, the Facebooks, we've on the Anthreads, we've got email address on basically anything is fancy. The usual, the Anthreads probably the best one. I'm sitting on there as Bollywood Coin. That's my username. On the Bitcoin Talk, sorry.
Okay, terrific. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks so much for calling in to Bitcoin Talk Show today, Anwar Shahad. Have a great day.
Thank you very much for your time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And I just wanted to agree with him how important it is to have a named developer that people can trust. I mean, we have a lot of coins on here. It's nice to talk about new coins, but when he said that he was working with Peter Bushnell, who worked with Feathercoin, and I know, Derek, you and I know Chris, who worked with Feathercoin, it really does kind of bring it in. We're like, yeah, maybe this could be a legit product. I like the idea. I like using Bitcoin or other coins for these new ideas, but it's so hard with all these scams. There's been so many scam coins. It's so easy to photocopy a coin. So really, it is important to have that named developer and have that trust. There's not that many of them that you really know that you would trust.
I also love the idea that it's participatory. It's like exactly what Bitcoin was intended to be, right? It's this kids at home. They come home from school and they check their computers and they see, hey, look, while I was away, doing worthless worksheets, I was mining some Bollywood coin, and now I can relax and watch some Bollywood movies at coinvids.com or whatever. Is that the
So
website?
I wonder if anybody is actually going to create scam coin and just see.
It's open for you, Daryl.
Just see.
I think there's been a scam coin, and there's probably a scam coin 2 by now. in
What's the
between.
one?
I remember someone told me once there's a scam coin and there's a scum coin, and there's different definitions. If like a scam coin is like a scam on purpose, and a scum coin is like not intended to be a scam, but they just failed in general. They weren't good coders, things like that.
Totally different topic, totally not a scam, but will you remind me the Bitcoin potato currency, what is that one called?
Oh, I don't remember the name of Theo's currency, but I do know he was starting a new exchange, and it was like Global Mega Uber X2, something like that. Theo's got the best ideas for new currencies and new exchanges.
Yeah.
Bitcoin potato?
Yeah, he's one of the Bitcoin personalities in the Bitcoin space, and he creates entertainment and info content. So, the last caller mentioned that Bollywood Coin will be active on November 24th, and I asked him, is there any significance to that date? He said, yeah, there's a fundraiser going on. But that's also the date which Barrett Brown will be sentenced. So mark your calendars, November 24th, Barrett Brown, an American activist, author, freelance journalist, and writer. He appeared in The Guardian, Vanity Fair, Huffington Post, and Business Week, just to name a few. He was on MSNBC as well. He's in recent documentaries We Are Legion, Future Radicals, and Terms and Conditions May Apply. He's also the founder of a think tank which researches and reports on matters related to the intelligence contracting industry. And he did publish a hyperlink, or is accused of having published a hyperlink. He also pleaded guilty last April to that charge, and is now facing 8.5 years in a jail cell.
Well, that's better than the
that
100 years that he was facing had he not taken the plea.
It's better to be kicked in the shins than the balls, indeed. He has a lesser sentence, lesser risk, but still an injustice for him to be prosecuted.
I completely agree.
Been incarcerated in a small remote area of Texas since 2012. Arrested not long after Jeremy Hammond, another hacktivist, was flashbang grenaded and arrested at his home. And so I will be watching this closely as a Bitcoiner, as a person who cares about internet freedom. A person posting a hyperlink going to jail for any amount of time is something that should concern all of us.
Well, remember there was the New York Times journalist that served some astronomical number of days in jail because he refused to give up his source.
This name is Barrett Brown. The sentencing for the jailed journalist who took the plea agreement in April on 3 reduced counts and now faces a maximum of 8.5 years in prison, has been postponed. So, all right, yeah, let's see. Well, it was originally scheduled for August 18th, right? Then October 6th. The sentencing will now happen Monday, November 24th, 2014 at 9 a.m. Central Time, because it's in Texas, remember, at the federal courthouse there. And by that time, he'll have spent over 2 years behind bars. And let's see, while you're waiting for him to get out, you can also read what he's been writing. He's been blogging at a website called Front Burner, so you can see he writes pretty much weekly, which is a unique thing. Not many people in jail get to blog about their experiences, but he writes like a modern-day Hunter S. Thompson. So if you enjoyed any of Hunter S. Thompson's writings or life story, definitely check out Barrett Brown. He's one for the ages, and one that I follow closely, and I'd love to get to know when he's out, hopefully, or just maybe write to him while he's away.
Yeah, and I know that there's been a move to try to somehow convince the judge to let him off with time served.
That's right. During all of last week, the judge was receiving letters at the federal courthouse for leniency. There were people who were able to write to him asking for leniency in sentencing. Unfortunately, that period is now over, so if you have a letter to write the judge, he's not going to read it. But hopefully he got a lot of letters of people concerned about Barrett saying, go light on him, send him to time served, which would mean, you know, hey, you're free to go. You've already spent enough time in jail. I don't know if that was. I just received a call. I don't know if that was intended to be on the show or not. But anyway, we'll move on. If it was intended for the show, they'll call back. Barrett Brown will be sentenced Monday. Your thoughts?
I'm not sure what he's done. You guys say that he's put a hyperlink up. You're not being you're being a little cryptic. What did he actually do?
I thought this was bigger news. I apologize for not recapping well enough.
So that there was a link in one internet forum, and
we should back up to Jeremy Hammond because he's also behind bars.
Yeah,
and he's the reason sort of why Barrett Brown is in jail. So Jeremy Hammond is a hacktivist in, I guess he was based in Chicago. He was from Chicago, and used to hack websites for play. Basically, he's just this super genius, and but also a really regular guy. Like here's a picture of him. I'll put him up on the screen. He's got dreadlocks and big scruffy beard, and so like he's some normal guy. He's a stoner, likes to get high. And he said that the feds actually busted him in his apartment while he was chilling with his friends smoking pot. So, he's like a regular guy who just likes to hack websites. And he says, I didn't kill anybody. He was sentenced to 10 years. He was also facing 100 years sentence. So.
And he was hacking government websites, not, real websites, not, websites belonging to private individuals.
Exactly. Here's the quote from Jeremy Hammond. I hacked into dozens of high-profile corporations and government institutions. Let's see. Sorry, this is understanding very clearly that what I was doing was against the law, but I felt that I had an obligation to use my skills to expose and confront injustice and bring the truth to light. He also said, could I have achieved the same goals through legal everything, from voting petitions to peaceful protest, and have found that those in power do not want the truth to be exposed. So Hammond became one of the FBI's most wanted criminals, and he hacked into a website called Stratfor, the Stratfor website. And they are an intelligence firm. Embarrassingly, though, they did not encrypt their credit card information of their customers, of their data. So there were when he hacked into this information site, all of these credit cards were available to him, and he started using some of the credit cards to send donations to places like the Red Cross and some other places. So he used these people's credit card information not for his own financial gain, not for any sort of fraud in that regard to benefit himself, but to arguably benefit humanity, sending donations and performing charity with his hack. So
some of the info he posted online.
Right, and he posted that info online, and Barrett Brown, who studies and has this think tank which follows intelligence firms, was like, look how vulnerable this one firm is. Here's a hyperlink which you can go and see all of their private data. And so that's what he did in some chat room, allegedly, that he posted this into.
Copied it from like one internet forum.
Yeah, he copied it from
put it into a chat room or another forum. I've seen both, so I'm not really sure.
I think it was that he copied it from a chat room into a forum, so it was publicly available for other people. And having it in a chat room, it's private, but then putting it on a forum is public.
But still, it wasn't a hidden URL. It's not like he said, this is how you get to the Silk Road, and here's a website where you can, do all of these horrible things. It was, hey, here's a website, here's the URL of something that I found.
Yeah,
You might find this interesting.
So literally, it would be like if I posted BitcoinTalkShow.com online and the government was just like, that's a crime. You're going to jail.
Yeah. We don't like Bitcoin Talk Show.
That's what happened. They were like, you can't have a link to that website. That's not allowed. And that's literally what happened. So he's pled guilty to reduce the potential harm to himself. He was facing 100 years. Now he's facing 8.5. It's a lot better, but it's ridiculous that he would have to plead guilty to something so innocent. I mean, there's no crime there. There's no victims being created. So
right, but
these are
also
Barrett Brown and Jeremy Hammond, and they're both in behind bars right now for tech reasons.
Also the hearing would have been in Texas, and it's going to be really difficult to convince a jury in Texas that exposing government corruption isn't illegal.
That's a good
because
point.
Texas.
So yeah, those are the stories that
it really seems like one of the laws of the internet that if you link to something, you didn't create it. You're not responsible for it. I mean, all kinds of people link to the fappening, I'm sure. Lots of fappening files are out there, but only one group of people actually created those. I don't think it's everyone else's fault. I don't think that would hold up. That's really disappointing that he had to take the not guilty, or they had to take a guilty plea on that. You sure there wasn't more? You sure he wasn't actually involved in this database? And I get that why they're mad about Stratfor. That's a very valuable customer list. I could see just loosing that on its own, but of course I would want to loose the whole thing. There's a bit of a question why you would loose just part of it, or just to embarrass them. I'm not sure. That's very, very strange. Obviously, the first guy, I'm going to go ahead and be the judge here. I'll just take it all. The first guy, like the people in sneakers, he's in trouble. You can't just take the money and give it away like Robinhood. That's trouble. The rest of the hacking, the defacing, is more minor stuff, and it's really also very disappointing that Stratfor would have their commercial website and their credit cards in the same place. Something like that. That's a security problem. So I hold them at fault too. But the second guy with the link, this is nonsense.
Yeah,
there must be more to it.
This is Barrett Brown. Let me tell you a little bit more. So having previously been raided by the FBI on March 6th, 2012, and not arrested or charged, on September 12th, 2012, Barrett Brown was again raided, and this time arrested by the FBI while he was online participating in a tiny chat session.
How small was that chat?
Tiny. He was subsequently denied bail and detained without charge and adequate medical treatment for over 2 weeks while in custody of U.S. Marshals. In the first week of October 2012, he was finally indicted on 3 counts related to alleged activities or postings on popular websites such as Twitter and YouTube. On December 4th, 2012, Barrett was indicted by a federal grand jury on 12 additional counts. Wait a minute. 12 additional counts related to data from the Stratfor breach, despite his lack of direct involvement in the operation and stated opposition to it. He faces these charges simply for allegedly pasting a hyperlink online. On January 23, 2013, he was indicted a third time on 2 more counts. How many is this? We got 12 plus 1 plus 15 counts relating to the March 2012 FBI raids on his apartment and his mother's house. Oh, but after some of the worst charges were dropped, Barrett entered a guilty plea to 3 counts, for which he now faces 8.5 years in prison. So this is...
Now, is the problem that he linked to the Stratfor customer list and that it's an important customer list, or is the problem that there is credit card information in this list?
I think let's assume the worst. Let's assume there is a URL out there that Stratfor is so stupid as a securities information whatever firm, whatever they do, that they have a URL out there that's got all of their customers' credit card information and all their private data, where they live, their children's names. Let's assume the worst, okay? And this guy posted a URL link to that website. Does he go to jail? Is that a crime?
I mean, I think the immediate problem here is, and I assume they did, but it didn't get to me or it didn't get to the wider internet, but why didn't they tell the internet about this? Because the last time the internet got all upset with the DVD cracking system, where they were like, these 36 numbers or whatever it was allow you to crack a DVD, and they're like, well, by having these, you're a criminal. I seem to recall the internet getting really upset about that, everybody posting it on every web forum everywhere, encoding it into CDs, putting it into images. It was really a big thing for a while, and eventually they had to give that up. They were like, okay, this code is out there. We made all of our shit links to this one code. We're that stupid. But and you got us. You got the code. Couldn't we just put this link out there? Is there that level of fear with this Voldemort type link? Is it hidden? Can we find
It's probably a hidden link somewhere. I've read a good bit about the Barrett Brown thing, but haven't found this horrible devious link.
It just seems to me like he's a guy they wanted gone.
They wanted him gone for other reasons, and they made some stuff up.
Yeah, they were like, here's our chance. He's associated with that Jeremy Hammond guy who hacked. He posted the hyperlink. Let's jump on him. 15 charges.
It's like the Al Capone thing. Like, they couldn't get Al Capone on anything, so they made up tax evasion.
Well, also, the weird thing that governments always do is charge people with the crime that the government actually commits against them. So, like, the Liberty Dollar was a creation before Bitcoin, which Bernard von Nothaus is still awaiting sentencing for. His crime being counterfeiting, but of course he simply revealed that the government is doing the counterfeiting, not him. And then Edward Snowden was charged with spying, but he just revealed that the government is spying. And so now similarly, Barrett Brown reveals, I don't know what, that the government is incompetent for their intelligence community, and they just want him gone. They charge him with...
Yeah.
What is he? What's his charge? What exactly is the charge here?
Let's click on one of these.
Yeah, I'm clicking on the.
You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole system's out of order.
Exactly. So it just
hyperlink charge. What?
Related to link sharing. Okay.
I want to go.
I guess they probably did some sort of computer abuse fraud act.
What if he puts the link into bit.ly and gets a short link for the system? Now bit.ly is guilty of this same crime that he's committed, and anyone that follows the short link is guilty of the crime. I really it seems like it's out of control. I don't see how they could stop that.
Here, we got a statement from the EFF, that's the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They said in a March 5th statement earlier this year that, we are relieved that the federal prosecutors have decided to drop the charges against Barrett Brown. In prosecuting Brown, the government sought to criminalize a routine practice of journalism, linking to external sources, which is a textbook violation of free speech protected by the First Amendment. Although this motion is good news for Brown, the unnecessary and unwarranted prosecution has already done much damage. Not only has it harmed Brown, the prosecution, and the threat of prosecution it raised for all journalists has chilled speech on the internet. We hope that this dismissal of charges indicates a change in the Department of Justice priorities. If not, we will be ready to step in and defend free speech.
And
Yay! Go EFF!
Also says that the EFF had intended to file an amicus on behalf of several reporters arguing for the dismissal of charges.
I still don't understand exactly what the charge is, and I guess I'll have to go right to the motion to read exactly what they say it is. I mean, this is a motion.
It has to be something to do with the credit card information. That by sharing the link, he's sharing their credit card information, and they're accusing him of the crime. My question would be, what if he downloaded this database, removed those credit card fields, re-uploaded this database, then linked to this database? Then I guess he'd be in even more trouble. It's hard to really tell what the crime here is, what's wrong with this information, why this link is bad data. Does the link even still work? Like, can we follow the link today? I mean, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and I wonder, really just Stratfor being upset that they had poor security, and they're being embarrassed about it, and trying to hold someone else responsible besides themselves. They're just like, hey, someone hacked us, and you're wearing a white hat today, Thomas. They'll do that as a service for people. They'll hack into an information or a technology website, and they'll be like, hey, you've got these loopholes, or you've got this security flaw you might want to know about. He did them a service by, you know, revealing that exposure. So they could be thanking him, they could be paying him, they could hire him, but instead the government has stepped in to solve the problem, and they're going to put him in a cage for, I don't know, 10 years. About that. So, okay, we could talk about this more all day. I do a show called Peace News where we talk about peaceful resistors like him. But let's move on to a happy story. There's an Australian documentary about Bitcoin. I want to play a clip from it for you. Take a listen. It's pretty funny. We need more documentaries like this.
Welcome to Melbourne, Australia, often considered the arse end of the world. You might think it's the last place on earth for innovation, but per capita we are one of the fastest adopters of new technology, and Bitcoin is no exception. Early in 2014, mainstream media led the world to believe that Bitcoin had collapsed, when in fact it was only the fall of a single exchange. The price bounced back within days. Now that's an event that is unprecedented in the financial world. But the same media outlets didn't want to run that side of the story. So we thought we'd balance the scales and give you the opportunity to make up your own mind. This three-part mini-series will introduce you to some of our innovators, our startups and merchants, our visionaries, and we'll share with you tales of success and the tales of loss.
Bitcoin is basically the future of everything. I'm not talking money, I'm talking
everything.
The early there right at the start. And I think in 20 years' time we're going to look back and think, how could we have actually dealt with physical cash?
Bitcoin itself was worth zero for 8 months after it started, and then it gained a value. And why it has that value? Well, it's one of those questions people ask when they first get into it.
It's the fast reaction.
Yeah, so I think this is a pretty exciting documentary. I recommend it. You can find it right now at the top of Reddit/Bitcoin, and that's how I discovered it. It's an Australian documentary, apparently, and well done. We need more things like that. So good on them for creating something simple, easily digestible, and entertaining. I think they did a good job with it.
I'm waiting for the real Satoshi Nakamoto to come forward and make a documentary.
Why?
That way he can give like the untold story of like why he did it.
I think you're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I doubt he has the skills. I mean, like Satoshi's. Well, why would I doubt Satoshi's skills? But I just imagine
he could get an iMac. He could get a camera.
I just imagine he specializes in one thing, which is bringing down the entire economic,
I'm sure the economy and editing video.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Well, hey, that's the last thing that I had for today. I also wanted to thank Daryl for being on with us, and I wanted to, in closing, I know I hit on this every week, and Thomas, you might get sick of it, but I don't care. New Hampshire is one of the coolest damn places to live for Bitcoin. If you love Bitcoin, you should move here. And Daryl,
Yes.
you're part of that reason. You sold your car in Bitcoin. The car that you drove up here in, you sold it for Bitcoin. I believe it was one of the first Bitcoin for car in-person transactions
As far as I know,
yeah.
It was the first person-to-person Bitcoin car transaction The only other Bitcoin car transaction that I am even aware of that happened, prior to that was somebody had bought a car from Tesla with Bitcoin.
Right, and they hadn't done it directly. They did it through a Lamborghini dealership in California or something. So that was very cool. Not only do you sell cars for Bitcoin, sometimes you
I
sell
bought
other
a
things.
not a bus indirectly with Bitcoin.
Okay.
The YMCA did not.
They don't accept Bitcoin.
They don't take Bitcoin, so I sold the Bitcoin and then used that money to buy it.
So I've tried to set up businesses around Philadelphia and Keene, all the places where I live, with accepting Bitcoin. You've had more success with it than I have. What's the secret to getting a business that is in your local area set up with Bitcoin? What do people have to know? If I'm listening at home and I say, darn, I wish there were 10 businesses around me that would accept Bitcoin, how do I get there?
You're asking the wrong guy.
You've set them up.
I've only got 3 businesses set up. One of the businesses only did it because I kept asking, and I frequent the place.
Number 1, keep asking.
Yes.
And then basically I did all of the legwork for her,
yes.
and wound up getting
Number 2, do all the work.
And the other businesses that I got set up because they had inquired with somebody else, and they directed them to me. Oh yeah, Daryl set people up with Bitcoin before. He'll be by on this time at this day. And
that's awesome. And what about the hair salon? How did you get them set up? Because I used to cut hair in Keene, and I accepted Bitcoin back then.
That was one where the guy had seen Ian and said he was interested and wanted me to come in to talk to him on a certain day, certain time.
Excellent.
And I, did all of the legwork for it. I was there with him. And
well, you've made it very
easy. Go here, do this.
You've been able to make it very easy. What is the go there, do this? Because what I was able to do when I got my hair cut at Moda, which is a local salon, the girl behind the register, she didn't even know what Bitcoin was. She was like, she knew how to accept it. She knew how to pay for my haircut.
Yeah.
And give me a receipt. She knew how to, grab my phone, scan the QR code and everything. She knew how to, I guess, pull up some kind of QR code and
right.
type in the payment amount. But then at the end of the transaction, she was like, so what is this Bitcoin thing anyway?
Yeah, so what the way I have the hair salon set up and the way I have Corner News set up is through Coinbase.
Okay.
With Moda, they have...
That's the hair salon.
That's the hair salon. They have a payment website that isn't directly linked from their website,
so
but it's something that they have bookmarked.
Okay.
On their payment console,
and anybody, whether they have a website or not, can do this if they get a Coinbase account, right?
Yes.
So you don't need to even be a merchant. You can get this if you have a Coinbase account.
Right.
So, okay, you get a Coinbase account, and then you can have a URL, a website.
Right. It's under Merchant Tool.
Okay.
And you can click, create a payment page.
Yeah.
And then it will be, Coinbase.com/some long string of numbers. Bookmark that.
Bookmark it. Make it a link or a shortcut.
Right.
On your desktop.
And so with Moda, they keep this little tab always open.
Yeah.
Put in the number, and then I have where they put in an email address. And what they do on that end is put in the name of whoever did the haircut, so they know it's my. The way I had set them up so that they would know, but they probably put that somewhere else anyway. That way, in case you leave a tip, they know who gets the tip.
I tip in cash.
Yeah. So I have them set up where all they have to do, click here, input the number of dollars, then click pay, and then a QR code pops up.
Rad. Okay, so that's very easy, and that's how it works across all platforms. And that could even work, say, if your computer crashes at the store, your employee could still pull up the same URL.
Right.
And could use the little iframe, right?
Right. So with Corner News, it's mycornernews.com/Bitcoin.
And anyone
I could go there right now, send them Bitcoin, and then walk down to the store and say, yeah, I sent you $1 worth of Bitcoin. Let me get a drink.
And she can check that somehow?
And they can check that.
Wow. Have you ever done this?
I've never done it that way. I generally just pay when I'm there. But one
that would
time,
be a cool way to do it, right? To be like,
there was one time right after.
Be like, I want to order a Snapple. I'm looking for a Snapple. I'm going to send you the $1.99 now, and then just walk in. That'd be great.
Yeah, I could do that. And there was one time when I had gotten Roberta, that's the lady that runs Corner News, got her set up with the Merchant app on her phone.
Yes.
And went to pay 99 cents for something. I didn't pay attention that she missed the decimal point. She didn't pay attention that she missed the decimal point.
How much did you pay for that?
I spent $99 for a Fuse iced tea.
Wow. Was it a really good iced tea?
When I got home, I realized it. And so I called her up and said, "Hey, Roberta, I just realized I sent you $100 instead of $1. I need you to log in." And then
high roller Daryl.
Here's here's where you find the transaction, and then click refund, and then I'll bring you $1 tomorrow.
Yeah, and she trusted you enough.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, that's a real success
story.
Yeah,
so make sure your decimal points are in the right place.
I wish that more businesses would know just how easy it is and hear that story from you, because there's a business in town called Local Burger that I've been bugging for months.
Oh, I've got an update on that.
Oh, what is the update?
I was talking to the lady that was running the counter there a couple nights ago.
Yes.
Because there was some meet and greet.
Yes.
And asked if they were any closer to getting set up, and she said, "Well, the brother that runs this store is talking to his brother that runs the store down in Massachusetts."
Got it.
And they're trying to decide how to do it, because if they take it here, they're going to want to take it in both places.
Makes sense. Why not just try it out at one place, though? I mean, give it a go in Keene. That's the place where we use Bitcoin. Massachusetts doesn't care about freedom. They don't want Bitcoin.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. Screw them. They got no freedom there. They don't get burgers or Bitcoin.
But they have a Bitcoin ATM vending machine thing in one of the train stations down in Boston.
South Station, Boston, actually has, this is a funny story, Liberty Tellers is a group that originated out of Philadelphia. They're UPenn students who are studying, I think, at Wharton, and they were members of the Bitcoin Philadelphia group, the regular group that would meet up Wednesdays in Philadelphia. We still actually have regular meetups each week. And they're still not able to get a Bitcoin ATM in Philadelphia. They are from Philly. Their logo has a Liberty Bell on it. It says Liberty Tellers. They've been studying. I remember for months them talking about how, we've been racking our brains trying to study all these laws, right? Because they're really trying to comply with all these laws. It's impossible. You can't freaking do it, okay?
Yeah.
You can't comply with all the laws. You're going to have to break a few eggs to make an omelet and get this Bitcoin thing going. We need people to just say, okay, here's Bitcoin. You can use it. We're not concerned about all the friggin' who's going to come to point guns at us and throw us in cages.
I tried looking at the regulations.
Yeah.
After,
good luck, man.
After Ian said that he was going to get one of these Skyhook things, I started looking at the stuff of, okay, so
that's Ian Freeman of Free Talk Live.
Maybe I'll set up like this, umbrella corp sort of thing and operate it.
Yeah.
And I get to
anything come of that?
The number 3 thing that it says you have to have before you can apply for this other thing that you have to have before you can apply for the thing that you have to have before you can get the money transmitter business.
Right.
And the third thing was you needed like something that basically a bank routing number. I'm not an effing bank. I don't. How do I get that? I don't know. So
$1 million.
It was like, yeah, okay. I'm done. Like, I didn't even get past here's the things you need in order to apply for the thing you need to apply for.
Yeah. There are too many steps, too much permission, too many, just begging and kissing the ring. Yeah, so anyway, I'm excited about Bitcoin.
Intergalactic bit license.
More businesses should accept it. It's very easy. There are some people who are concerned about it, but they're mostly vending machine people. If you're a merchant, you don't have to be worried about this stuff that we're talking about of like government goons cracking down. If you're making burgers, they don't really care about you. It's about the people who are bringing Bitcoin to the people, to the masses. That's what they're really concerned about. It threatens their legitimacy, it threatens their power, and that's because they fund their wars of aggression at home and abroad with paper dollars. So stop using those. Use the currency of free people like Bitcoin or whatever kind of cryptocurrency you want. Use some sort of alternative.
Well, there is one small benefit to paper dollars over Bitcoin.
What's that?
Is there's not trace amounts of cocaine on my Bitcoin.
Good point. I think we'll leave you with that. This has been Bitcoin.
Before we go, we have a whole bunch of questions, and I'm going to roll through them really quick because they're all from the same guy. So this is Dan Gould's question hour. Here we are.
Go, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. And here we go. Dan says that you should tip in Bitcoin. You should have the clerk pay in fiat, then give them a percentage over the spot Bitcoin price. They'll get Bitcoin, and they'll love it. It's a good point, Dan. Dan says, Ross's lawyers/liars will garner a deal for Ross, and he will lose all of his Bitcoin. Freaking pathetic. That's one possible outcome.
And I think you're right. I mean, that terrifies me.
It's gonna be sad if that. Well, I mean, I think it's really kind of a funny situation because I don't think they'd give him a deal for all the Bitcoin in the world. So I really think they want this guy. He has to go down.
Yeah, I don't know. He might get a deal. He might get something. I don't know.
If they had any deal, oh boy, would they take it? I think because their position is very difficult.
The lawyers are liars. You know, notice that all politicians are former lawyers.
It's a pretty popular profession for them. He also says, is Barrett Brown guilty of what he's accused of? I doubt it. He says that Derek, the gas station guy, is connected. Earlier when we had the Pakistan gas station guy, which was a really cool call. Thank you, Assad, for calling in. Dan warns that you should...
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does he mean the gas station guy is connected?
Oh, the Pakistan Bitcoin gas station guy. That was the guy who went to a local gas station and bought Bitcoins from the gas station.
Isn't that so rad? Small world.
Yeah, well, he's into Bitcoin, and he finds the show. Didn't even matter what we were talking about. You just call right in.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What are you talking about?
I want to talk about Bitcoin. That sounds cool. So, Dan also says, stay away from banks. Banks are criminals. Criminals are banks, etc. He also says that I think Thomas has the best Bitcoin hat. I like the colors best.
I agree. I think Thomas does have the best hat.
It's kind of a floppy top hat. Like, I don't like the floppiness as much as, like, Derek, your orange one there. I like the way that had a strength to it.
Yeah.
And, I imagine that I made mine. I forgot your name, but did you make your own hat too? Because I stitched this on, actually. That's how this.
No, I actually got this hat from $6 shirts, and I paid with Bitcoin. I got the hat for free because I paid with Bitcoin.
That is really cool, and I would like to try $6 shirts. I've seen some good stuff out there on those shirt sites. They have a lot of Bitcoin designs.
They're really popular over here. People will bulk order and be like, "Hey, you guys ready for some shirts?" So
I've got a Team Edward shirt that has a picture of Snowden.
Yeah, I've got an Edward Snowden shirt, but I bought it from a local printer in Philly, and it was a weird story. So this was when Bitcoin Philadelphia had just started meeting up, and we were still meeting in the Starbucks at Rittenhouse Square, when a strange guy came and...
A strange guy at a Bitcoin meetup?
Yeah,
that
right.
never happened.
I know, imagine. But he was offering these Edward Snowden shirts and was talking about how he was trying to fundraise for like a Snowden thing. The revelations were pretty much new, and he made these Obama-looking shirts. You know, the image of the black, the red and blue. But instead of hope at the bottom, it said hero.
Nice.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Well worth the $20 in Bitcoin or whatever I spent back like 2 years ago. That's pretty rough to think about.
So now that's, you know,
it's probably my most
that's like that
shirt.
$10 million pizza or whatever it was.
Yeah, some of those things that just ends up happening, but you know.
And even me, who got into this late, I have a very expensive keychain, a very nice keychain.
I've eaten some like $30 ice cream.
Yeah, right. It's funny how that stuff works, because at the time you don't care. You would part with your dollars just the same as you would your Bitcoin.
The first
while
time
you're spending it anyway.
The first time I accepted Bitcoin, I didn't really trust the whole thing because Mt. Gox had just gotten hacked.
What was the first Bitcoin you accepted?
Somebody wanted to purchase something from me. I don't remember what it was, but it was like
That's tragic that you don't remember.
It was like 8 Bitcoin for $40.
8 Bitcoin for $40.
And I sold them to Mark Edge from Free Talk Live.
Mark's just scooping up all the Bitcoins.
So I asked him last year when Bitcoin was hovering around like 900. Hey, Mark, you think we can undo that Bitcoin trade now?
No.
Yeah, that's what. Actually, he said, go ask my wife.
Yeah, right.
And I asked her, and she just laughed.
Yeah, that's smart. He's got a protector, a keeper of the keys. So hopefully no one goes after him. Well, anyway.
We've got more questions from Dan.
Oh, this
Dan
is
says he loves sending Bitcoin through a Skype, webcam, or chat. That's a great way to send Bitcoin.
Well, Daryl's got a newspaper that's got a QR code on it. You can
Can you hold that up? Let's give that a try.
Yeah, check it out.
That's a huge one. That should work. Nice. People at home, scan that, donate.
No, I have to be talking so that it's not Thomas who's big on the screen. It has to be me constantly making audio. So you can see, and if you can't see this, you can learn more at fpp.cc.
All right, we've got just a few more questions from Dan.
The QR code for the tour.
Got it.
So Dan laughs. He laughs out loud at Scamcoin. He laughs out loud at Derek. He says, can we agree that maybe Barrett Brown was accused of breaking a law or statute, but the code is forensic evidence to prove the law applies to him? I'm not sure about that one. We'll have to see. Dan also says that he accepts Bitcoin, and you should never take a plea unless they show you the evidence that you're guilty. I agree with that on this Barrett Brown situation. Unless there's more to it than we're seeing here. Putting a link out there doesn't seem like enough to me. And the last comment we've got from Dan is, Piper paper wallets rock, which they do. It's a little printer you can buy, a couple $100. Push the button, makes a paper wallet come out. Very easy to use.
You know these? You seem to be nodding in recognition.
No, I was shaking my head in curiosity.
Daryl, this is something you would love. I believe we have one on the show. Thomas, are you able to print us a...
I've got one. It's not hooked up. Let me see if I can find the power adapter.
Are you kidding me? You're not ready to generate a paper wallet at the drop of a hat?
Tell me about this thing.
All right, so I'll fill you in. It's gone through a couple of different incarnations. Basically, it's a tissue box that some kid was like, hey, I think I'll put some wires and silicon in here, and then turn it into a Bitcoin printing machine. So basically, it's a whole computer in a box. It's running off of a Raspberry Pi, those little CPUs.
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. And all it does is generate Bitcoin addresses. So it's a very simple thing to do. You can do it with a Bitcoin client or with different websites. It looks like Thomas is doing a screen share for us here, so we can learn more about the Piper wallet through their website, which is cryptography.com.
It's like cryptographic without the C.
Yeah, so this is a place where you can buy the Piper paper wallet, and so it prints out like a little receipt paper, and it has a QR code. Two of them.
That weird heat paper to where if it gets hot, the image goes away, because that would kind of suck.
I believe it is that kind of printer, but it's also, it uses that to its advantage, I think, because...
Right, but like, let's just say that I take the thing, I print it out, and somebody sends me Bitcoin, I put it in my wallet,
right?
And then like 6 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I had this Bitcoin, and I can't read anything.
Right. Okay, so maybe it's not that kind of wallet paper. I don't know.
It's more of a temporary paper wallet. It's not your like permanent one. But the really thing it's great for is when you have the Skyhook ATM and you have someone that doesn't know about Bitcoin. And let's imagine for once, I know all the time in Bitcoin we have to like be patient and take our times and set things up. But let's say you wanted some Bitcoin, you're in a hurry. You push the button, you get your wallet, you put your $5 in the machine, scan it, and you walk out the door. You got $5 in Bitcoin. You don't have to get an account. You don't have to put an email, password. You just use this little paper wallet, and then you import it to your normal wallet on your blockchain or whatever you want to do. It's your Bitcoin.
Okay.
Isn't that sweet?
Yes.
So the ideal would be, and we showed the video earlier of the Porcupine thrift store here, 101 Deals in Keene, where there is a Skyhook machine right on the register. Well, you could imagine there could be a Piper paper wallet also right next to it, where someone could print their own QR codes and have not only a public address but a private address as well that they could import later on.
Okay.
Or they could just keep it on the paper and hand it to a friend. Say, hey, thanks for buying me that whatever.
I
also saw a guy on the internet who was laminating his Piper paper wallets. And he was even he found a use for the thermal paper, make them one-sided, that kind of thing, something like that.
That's very clever. Well, it's 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. We got to wrap up and move on, do other things for this world. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank our callers, Assad and Anwar. And thank you, Daryl, for being on the program today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
And thank you to Assad, who just sent us a picture of the gas pumps in Pakistan that accept Bitcoin. So look at that right there. Bitcoin available here. Buy Bitcoins, cash or credit card. And it's even got a CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, Bitcoin Foundation, Wall Street Journal, MoneyBeat, and Bitcoin PK logos at the bottom of it.
Can you zoom in, Thomas? I can't see all that.
Yeah, it's actually a really huge image. I can zoom in like crazy. But yeah, here's the Bitcoin banner that they have, sponsored by BitcoinPK.com, presumably Pakistan, and MoneyBeat, CoinDesk, a little Cointelegraph, Bitcoin Foundation, Wall Street Journal. So presumably they're doing announcements in those functions. And obviously this will be the top story on Mad Bitcoins tomorrow, because I've been campaigning for Bitcoin gas stations for a long time.
Did you not know that there's a Bitcoin gas station in New Hampshire and has been for many months?
There's one in Wyoming. I didn't know there was one in New Hampshire. I heard Will was supposed to get me one in Milwaukee, but is it?
Yeah.
Can you really get gas for the Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been the case for like a year.
Yeah,
go there and film me something. I've done dozens of episodes where I do nothing but repeat the words over and over. Gas station should accept Bitcoin. Gas station should accept Bitcoin. Gas station should accept Bitcoin.
I know. I've participated in that with you. So
yeah, there's a picture of some guy open carrying into the gas station that he.
Yeah. So this is a friend of mine, Thomas. I'm going to show
gas
you
with Bitcoin.
Show you what we're doing here in New Hampshire with our guns and our Bitcoin.
You don't need a gun, cowboys.
So this is a friend of mine here. We used to do a radio show called Flaming Freedom, and you can see that he's open carrying a gun here on his hip while paying for his gas in Bitcoin. That's really happening.
Yeah, the open carry just looks like he's about to shoot someone, but I'm very excited he's paying for gas in Bitcoin.
No, that's the cell phone in his hand. The gun is on his hip.
Yeah.
That's silly. Anyway, this has been Bitcoin Talk Show. We're out of time. Catch us next week, Wednesdays from 3 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And we're at BitcoinTalkShow.com in the meantime. Daryl, you have a website.
Yeah, fpp.cc and fppradio.com.
I have a website. It's derekj.me. And Thomas, you're of the World Crypto Network and Mad Bitcoins.
Yep. We're out of time. Bye.